with the Lifestyle Show on TRE, Your Voice in Spain. Now, my next guest is a 28-year-old ex-army nurse who is now a milliner and stylist. She designs and makes hats for many celebrities who are approaching her to make them bespoke. To tell us more, please welcome to the show, Mimi Theobald. Thanks for joining us, Mimi.
Oh, thank you, Selena, for that.
Yeah,
what a lovely introduction.
You're very welcome. I've been looking at your hats, the pictures here. They're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely
thank you.
Amazing. So give us a bit of background about yourself. I think you grew up in Inverness in Scotland?
That's right, way up north, near Loch Ness. Grew up in the Highlands. Basically, I grew up, and at 17 I left home, joined the army. So that found me all over England. And I was an army nurse for 4 years until I met my husband, who's an Australian naval officer. Got married and then whisked off and moved to Sydney, Australia.
Wow. Bit different to Scotland, bit warmer.
Yeah, definitely a lot warmer. But it was out there when I was pregnant that I just started picking up the sewing machine and started making dresses at home. And then I just stumbled across a hat making class, and that was it. That's where the obsession with hats began, really. People always say to me, how did you get into hats? And I always sort of look back when I was about 5 years old, because I grew up, my parents were hoteliers. So I grew up in the hotel industry, and at the age of 5, my mum would dress me up as a bell girl, which involved tartan skirt, tartan sash, and she made a tartan pillbox out of a cereal box. And I think, at that age, it's very cute. And when you're wearing a hat, it's one of those sort of things, people will always make a comment, and it gets you noticed. And I think, looking back, that's where my love of hats really did begin. Carrying the suitcases and earning my pocket money, basically.
Oh, and is it difficult? I mean, a lot of people pick up the sewing machine and start sewing dresses and things. With hats, is it difficult? It looks difficult to me. The process involved in making a hat, it's such a long process. We work with, and it's very much as a craft, we work with wooden hat blocks. It doesn't have to be new blocks, it could be vintage blocks. Your grandmother probably has one in her wardrobe somewhere. And then you basically mould different materials, where it's straws or felt. They're your sort of standard materials, and you mould them over shapes. So you then stiffen it, wire it, and then you start building up. Then you get to do all the trims and all the fancy feathers. And we use, with millinery, the thing is, it's endless. You can make a hat pretty much out of anything, and that's probably why I enjoy it so much anyway. Yeah. You mentioned that it's a craft, which of course it is. Do you think it's a dying craft, a dying art?
Unfortunately, it is. I mean, there was a time, just like, you had a cobbler in every corner of every street, and you used to have a milliner. In fact, probably somebody in everybody's family tree will have a milliner somewhere along the lines. But today, it's an industry that it was dying because less and less people were wearing hats. And a lot of the hat factories shut down. Hats, there's a resurgence in wearing hats again. It's coming back I sort of say thanks to Duchess of Cambridge, because she's showing younger women that you can wear a hat and look very, very stylish.
Yeah.
And instead of people thinking, it's Mother of the Bride, it's for the older generation, they wear hats. Hats are definitely back, and fascinators are on their way out.
Oh, yeah, fascinators. Yes, okay. Yeah, they're on the way out, are they? And hats are coming back in.
Well, that's what they're saying, and that's what we're seeing on the streets, so, yeah.
And obviously that's what you want. Keep you busy. But you are busy. I know you're busy anyway, and obviously Ascot's coming up, so have you got a lot to do before then?
Oh, this time of year is always manic, and a lot of people leave hats to the last minute, which is very, very wrong. Hats are very much part of planning on an outfit. The thing about hats is it just finishes off the whole look. It ties together. If you're wearing a blue dress with red shoes, then you might tie in a little bit red into the hat, so it kind of makes it all make sense, if that, kind of pulls the whole thing together. And the lovely thing about hats, and it's kind of a terrible thing to say, but it can make the most plainest of girls look the most beautiful.
Yeah.
I've had, a client in the past who was in her 80s, and she went to a wedding, and after the wedding she came and saw me, and she said, you know what, it's the most number of compliments I've received in my entire life.
Wow.
And, that was lovely, especially from an 80-year-old lady, and I'm just like, you should have worn hats before then.
Yeah, well, they do look glamorous, though. They sort of frame the face, don't they, hats?
Absolutely. And the thing is, everyone suits wearing a hat, although so many people beg to differ. It's just more of a case of you haven't found the right shape that flatters, your face shape, basically.
Yeah. Now, last year you won an award at Epsom Races. Tell us about that. Oh, that was very, very exciting. It was Style on the Downs, and there's a woman. It was mainly women from England who attend the races there. And Erin O'Connor, the supermodel, she was presenting the award, and she was the judge. And yes, she chose me, which was fabulous because I was wearing a vintage dress that I bought on eBay, and it only cost $20 Australian. And there was ladies turned up in high-end designer garments, and just to show that it's not. You don't have to spend a lot of money to look glamorous. It's just how you accessorize. And I keep saying to people, it's all in the accessories. You could buy, a cheap dress, second-hand dress. It doesn't matter. But if you accessorize it well and, pick colours that complement your skin colour and your hair colour, then it's just all the little details that really do stand out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'd be good if it's fantastic what you do, and I know you do bespoke, but if the high street started selling hats more, that'd help, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think the problem is the high street, the selection on the high street. I mean, they're running, everything's about getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And so mass hat production is the way they're going. And in that, it's not milliners making it, it's just in a factory, predominantly in China. And they're all just mass produced, and they're just standard shapes that are easy to make in a factory. So all the sort of beautiful little shapes and, different styles of hats, they're not being seen on the high street. So you get somebody who goes out, tries on a hat, clunks it on their head and says straight away, oh, no, I don't suit wearing a hat. And then never tries on a hat again.
Yeah, so it puts them off. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, lots of my clients, they come to me, they might be going to a wedding, they might be mother of the bride, they feel obliged to wear a hat, and they come and the first thing they say is, I don't suit wearing a hat. And I just look at them and go, yes, you do. And then once we start putting hats on, then they just go, wow. And then it changes. And I mean, I've had a lady who started off, she came to me, didn't have the confidence to wear a large hat. And she started off, we did something not much bigger than a fascinator. Then she came back again, and then we moved on to a pillbox. Then she came back again, and then she went to Ascot, and we ended up with this huge creation of a hat. And it's a little bit about, confidence. You've got to wear the hat and not the hat wear you.
Yeah, you've got to be a bit brave, a bit out there. I think once you get used to it, I mean, I'm not a hat wearer, but I love to see them. I wish I was brave enough. And I think that's probably good advice. Start small and then work your way up to the massive ones.
Work your way up. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not about making things with lots of frills. Sometimes just a simple little shape, not much trim on it. I mean, think Coco Chanel. She was known. She stripped off all the feathers off the hats and just kept it very, very simple. And sometimes it just finishes an outfit. It's not necessarily the hat that's a wow factor, but it's the whole ensemble that really stands out in the crowd. Some people worry, they come to the milliner and you're going to make something extravagant like Ascot. You see all the photographs in the press, and it's all about balloon hats and breakfast on your head and things. Well, that's not what millinery is really about. Millinery is really about making something look beautiful and capturing their personality and creating a hat that complements that.
Would you get involved if somebody said, look, I want a hat, but I want my handbag to match it? Can you help there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the big thing is what I do. Biggest thing, I am more of a stylist, really, than a hat maker because it's all about creating a look. And when somebody comes to me, I look at them and try and get across and try and work out their personality and what sort of image they're trying to portray. And then we start from there. We go, okay, but the bag, the shoes. I mean, it's just this classic one. Everyone goes to the shop, they buy a dress, they ask the sales assistant, what kind of shoes should I wear with it? And they always say the same thing, it's silver. It's silver. It frustrates me. It really does. And because I work with colours every day I live and breathe colours and occasion dresses. When somebody brings me, say, a turquoise dress, I had somebody the other day and they had a turquoise dress and they pulled out and said, well, the sales assistant said silver shoes, so I've got silver shoes here. And I looked at her and went, no, absolutely not. And I, bring out all the different colours and show her that burnt orange or that deep, rich pink really sets off turquoise. But, when you're doing millinery, you learn so much. And if you ever stop learning, it's the day you give up on it, basically.
Yeah.
That you're always learning. And the thing I have self-learned is that outfits always work really best in three colours or three shades or three textures. And it's just softening. So that lady who had the turquoise dress and I convinced her to go down the fuchsia or burnt orange shoes. She then complemented it with a cream hat that then incorporated those other colours as well.
Yeah, sounds amazing.
It's just working with colours. And I think the difference today to 40 years ago is women don't spend as much time, putting outfits together. We've become very casual and disposable as well. I mean, garments are a lot cheaper than they were before. So, people just go out and say, oh, I like that skirt, I'll just buy it. But they don't think of the whole process of, okay, what could go really well with that skirt? What do I have at home? It's just kind of, oh, I like it, I'll just take it and throw it in the back of the wardrobe.
Yeah. Oh, that happens a lot, definitely. That happens a lot to me. Well, I know your new collection's just out, and I believe the website to find out more is allthewshatsbymimi.com.
Yes, please go visit it.
Yes, please go visit it. Definitely, I shall go and... Well, I've seen it. I've got pictures here. Mimi, thank you for joining us. I'm going to play a song especially for you by Joe Cocker. Bet you can't guess what it is. But you can certainly leave your hat on. Thank you very much, Mimi Theobald, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
A lot.
Bye.
Bye.